Hello, my lovely friends. It is Lisa. So besides doing unboxing videos, I also like to craft. So if you're into crafting and junk journaling, maybe this video will be for you. I have lots and lots and lots of papers that normally I would recycle, like my glossy box inserts and social nature inserts. So what I do with these papers is I cover them one side of music paper, like say something like this, and then I might take some coffee dyed paper and cover them. I'm not going to go through that whole process of covering, but basically what I do is I just put a lot of glue on it, I face it down, I cut it out, and I cover both sides. And once I have my bases ready, so here, these are papers that have already been covered. One side I put some coffee dyed paper on it, the other side is music paper. Then I just rub a little bit of gesso on it, gesso, white acrylic gesso. You can also use white acrylic paint. I just rub it on there and create these little kind of like mini masterboards. And from these, you can make tags. So using the items I received from Beebeecraft, they sent me 9 sheets of stamps. I have a video that I did on it. And they also sent me all these really pretty decorative trims. So using the stamps, I created these really cute cards. They're journaling cards or tags or bookmarks, whatever you want to use them for. And I have a really hot tip that I'll show you in just a second. So using the stamps from Beebeecraft, I just stamped and did some watercolor painting on them. Truthfully, I just used this cheap little kids kit that I found from my kids' leftover toys. I also have some other watercolors. Any watercolor works just fine. But the trick is to get beautiful stamping done and watercoloring done without the bleed of the ink. You have to use really good ink. And this is VersaFine Clair ink in Nocturne. It is a black ink. And this I found is perfect for watercolors. It says it on the back. Perfect for using watercolor to stamp images. I made the mistake of using, distressed oxide inks, cheap inks. Don't waste your time, because after you do your stamping, and then you start using your watercolors, it's not going to come out pretty. The inks are going to run. It was just an awful mess. So learn from me, use a good ink. I recommend VersaFine ink. I saw this from another video actually, and that's where I found out about such a beautiful pigment that doesn't run. So that's how I made these cards. They're all ready to journal on or use them as a bookmark, all using stamps and watercolors. Obviously, you can use anything you want. You can use markers, you can use colored pencil, whatsoever. So I also find it pretty therapeutic just to take a piece of paper and stamp on them. And this is just stuff I did today. I just did a bunch of stamping, random stamping, and then I used the watercolor paints and I colored it in. And these are ready to go, either tearing them out and sticking them on journal cards or on paper or whatever you want to do with them. I just want to show you how beautiful this ink works. You can also stamp on tissue paper. This is actually the tissue paper from Glossy Box. I found it very easy to stamp on this tissue paper, and I'll demonstrate that as well. And then we're just going to decorate some of these cards. But I just wanted to show you how beautiful this ink was. I have some of the stamps from my little Beebeecraft haul. I highly recommend these stamps They are, I mean, truthfully, it's a little overwhelming because there's 9 sheets of stamps to choose from. So, I mean, it's like you have way too many choices, which sometimes could be a bad thing because then you don't know what to do. You know, which one should I use? So let's just pick this one. I haven't used this. Oh no, I did use this one. All right, let's pick. Let's go ahead and do some of these labels. I like that. And I also love butterflies. So I can tell from these 2 stamps, I haven't used them yet because they're nice and clean. And I just got a block here. You just stick it on the block. And I'm going to show you how beautiful this pigment of the stamp is. It's really gorgeous. And, you know, this is, I think I got this one stamp for like $8 or $9. It's a little on the pricey side, but it's so worth it because it just comes out so beautiful on the paper. Look at that. Nice, crisp, clear stamp. And you don't have to wait very long to start painting on it. You can literally paint right away because this ink dries so quickly. And it's a very nice ink. Do one more of that over here, and then we'll switch out the stamp. It's gorgeous. Here's some labels. I really like this one. Now I'm trying to figure out which way is up. Okay, I think, okay, this is the top of the stamp. I suppose it really doesn't matter which is the top and which is the bottom. Isn't that a gorgeous ink? Just get a little lower so you can really get a close-up about how gorgeous this ink is. I've been learning that some of the inks I've used prior to getting this one have been really cheap, and it's really worth the investment to spend a little bit more money and get a better ink, because the results are really gorgeous. Obviously, I do have to clean my stamp. I'll go ahead and clean it. I should have a wet baby wipe by me, but I don't. But all of these were from that set from Beebeecraft. So there, I don't want to waste this ink. So I really try hard not to get it on the block. I just try to get like just a corner of it when I'm stamping. And there I did it again. I got it on the block, which is really wasteful because it's just so, it's such a beautiful color. And they have, obviously, you know, there's more colors than just black. You can buy, you know, whatever color you want from this company. But beautiful, beautiful inks. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to just paint with it. See the beauty of that? The inks are just so superior. I'm glad I found out about this ink early in my junk journaling journey. I'm glad I didn't find out about it like a year or so from now. So that, I'm just going to let that set for a second, and I'm just going to show you how pretty this looks when you do watercolors on it. My desk is extremely messy. I think think that's the way I just operate best, in a mess. I don't know. It's really hard for me to stay neat, but this is just like a kid's watercoloring set, and just look how beautiful it goes on. And I don't especially have a lot of talent in watercolor. I do try to stay within the lines with these stamps. So what I'm trying to say is you don't have to be a talented artist to do what I'm doing. You can have very, very, very basic art skills. Probably the best thing to have is a good brush. I'm using pretty decent brushes here. I mean, they're not an expensive set by any means, but they are nice brushes. And I'm just coloring in. So that's, I don't know, I find this really, I put on my headphones and I listen to YouTube. Lately I've been listening to really long videos. If you're looking, how should I say this? If you're looking to hear stories that about real life that happened during World War II, that's what I've been listening to most of the time I'm on YouTube. It's survivors of the Holocaust telling their stories, and I will link the site I go to. It's the Shoah Foundation, and some of these videos could be 2, 3, some of them are even 4 hours long. So I do listen to them in stages, like a 4-hour long video. I'm not sitting there for 4 hours listening to it. I just don't have the time. But I might listen for an hour or so and do some art, you know, some painting, like just what I'm doing right now. And or if I'm cleaning, especially if I'm cleaning my work area, I will put on a video, because you're not really seeing any action, you're just seeing somebody sitting there telling their experience during the Holocaust. Now I do stop the videos when they show, you know, I do pay attention if they have family photos and stuff like that. If they show that, I'm obviously definitely looking up at that. So there we go. This pretty butterfly. So I do a lot of those sessions when I'm crafting. Or sometimes I just listen to music, but the longer videos I really enjoy crafting too. So these are 3 pre-made pieces I made. And I'm just gonna show you quickly my decorating process. Let me get down. Maybe we'll do like 1 or 2 of them. I'll show you how beautiful these stamps are. And you could just stamp, you know, absolutely right onto this surface. And the reason why I put the gesso down was just to mute out the background a little bit so it doesn't compete so much with the actual stamping. And let me figure out what I'm going to do. I did notice on this set that some of the English translation didn't come out so great. Like, let me see if I can find one. Where's one? Here we go. It says, feel better soon. Thanking of you. Instead of thinking of you, it says thanking of you. So some of the translations into English definitely missed the mark. But so, you know, unless you don't really care, some of it you can't really use for things. Like if you were going to do a card, you would probably not want to do that. So, all right, I already got a stamp. Let's see if this one's wide enough. Okay, I'll make that the focal point. It's really pretty. Wait till you see this one. It's a honey pot with some flowers. I'm going to go ahead and do this card. I'll just make sure I get the ink on really good without wasting it, because you only really get one shot. So I'm going to make this my focal point right in the middle. And I did pretty good. Pretty good. It came okay. And then let's have a bee flying around would be pretty. So I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel on the craft type videos, and since I do so many various types of videos on my channel, it's kind of hard to get the audience for the crafting, paper crafting, junk journaling side. So if you're new here, I do all sorts of videos. I like to do crafting. I like to do unboxings. I like to teach things. I think I'm okay teacher at certain things. Maybe I'll put that label here. Yeah. And I just like having a lot of, you know, fun. I don't really specialize in one type of video on my channel, which makes it a little harder to get a consistent audience, because someone might tune in and go, I don't want to see these junk journaling videos, and they might decide to leave. You know, they want to see me unbox Glossy Box, and that's why they're here. So when they see a video of this type, they might not want to stay. So that's kind of like a little bit of a challenge I have on my channel, but I plug along because I know I can't stick to one type of medium. It's just not in me to do one thing. I just I can't specialize. For me, it's really hard. It's like I can't say, oh, I'm just gonna do you know, sewing tutorials, because I do that also. I have like 3 or 4 sewing tutorials on my channel. I can't just say, oh, I'm just going to do that when I want to do so many other things. So it can affect the audience and who decides to stay and who decides to say, I just want to see this type of video. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I hope you will hit that subscribe button. It really helps support my channel. And let me know what types of videos you like. Do you like to see craft process videos? Do you like sewing videos? Are you here for the beauty unboxing? I only unbox one beauty box, and that's the glossy box. And you know, truthfully, with glossy box, they can tell me one day, well, we're not going to give you any more boxes. You know, I don't know how long I'll be opening glossy box for. I've been opening glossy box for a little over a year, but you know, one day they can say like, thanks, but we don't need you as an affiliate anymore. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Thanks for, you know, I enjoyed the opportunity. So if you think you're going to stay doing the same thing all the time, no matter what it is, think again. Things change, and I learned a long time ago, we're all replaceable. Yes, we are. Unfortunately, what we do, what we think that we do so good, you know, they could replace us any day. Any day can come in and, you know, they can hire someone to do your job for less money. It happens all the time. Not that I'm worried about losing my job. I'm not, actually. That's one area of my life that I always feel pretty confident that I can stay for as long as I want. But you never know, even that can change too. One day you walk in and they say, Lisa, or whoever your name is, we've changed direction. It's been great having you. But, you know, your job is not here anymore. It happens to people every single day. So, we definitely are replaceable. So as you can see, the colors in this ink, they're very vivid and they stay put. I cannot tell you how much I recommend this beautiful ink for stamping. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just so pretty. A few weeks ago I was inking just with regular cheapy ink, and then when I came to paint, what a disaster. What a disaster. So that's why I was like, learn from me. And then I watched a few videos where, you know, these people, they probably work for Stamp It Up. Half of them work for a company. And obviously they're going to try to sell their own products. But I learned a lot from some of the other videos on YouTube. But really, just take this one ink, VersaFine Clair. Takes me 1 second to tell you that it is a superior ink. Trust me. Trust me, they said. So I hope everybody is having a good, what are we in? February already. Before we know it, it's going to be March. And I have been busy selling my house off. I've been selling bedroom sets. I've been selling wet saw, old office furniture, a bed, table saw. I am on a shopping, selling spree. I'm not shopping. I am selling. It's gone. Because we are moving this summer. As soon as my son finishes school, we will be moving to Florida. Well, that one came out too dark. So if it comes out too dark, you can just use a paper towel. There it goes. I think I want to make this butterfly, this bee have blue wings. So cool looking. And I'll give it some stripes. Literally, these little cards and stuff can be made in a matter of minutes. I just wanted to show you how quickly the ink goes on and how easy they are to decorate with kids' paints. You don't need a professional set of paints. Just use kids' paints. There she goes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut the edges. Then you just take that piece, turn it over, put it on the other side. You got a tag. Couldn't find my regular hole punch, but this little brad user had this, not a brad user, this is puts down those little rivet things. It has 2 hole punches in it, so I just eyeball it. For this one, I'm going to go ahead, so this was in my Beebeecraft haul. I'll go ahead and just put it through here and tie it up. This would make a really pretty bookmark, actually. I don't know, I don't have an Etsy shop, but you know, maybe in the future I will. And I can think of these would be really pretty to put in a shop. Then the last thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of gold to the edges. Now a lot of people would go ahead and maybe ink the edges, but I like using this gold paint. It's called Handmade by Modern. And I actually got a really good deal on it. I got like, there was like 5 tubes of different metallic paints. I got it for like $8 on a Kohl's clearance. And you can use your finger or you can just use a little brush and just lightly paint the edges right there. Actually, I'm going to use my finger. I just didn't want to get my nails so dirty, my fingernails so dirty. That's what I'm going to do. Put them right there. I'm going to use the excess on this brush. I think it goes on much nicer with the nail, with just your finger. At least it's faster. Maybe both ways. Can't decide. It just adds a little interest. You just wet it slightly. Little accent underneath here around. So that's the first card, and then you can even stamp something here really pretty. You can write something. I'm not really sure what I want to write. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and grab my other stamps. I think they're in here. Let's see. I know what I want to put there. If I can find it. Oh, here we go. I don't know if this is going to come out dark enough or not, but let's try it. I'm sure you all know what I'm going to put there. 20. Yeah, came out okay. 2022. A little bit sloppy. Maybe I should have just left it alone. But that's the first card. Like I said, it's just so easy to do these cards. I think this one would make a really pretty bookmark. And I'm just going to quickly paint it. Now, the stamping came out a little bit wonky on it, but I'm going to be able to save it, I think. I think it's going to be okay. Get a little bit more water in that so I can spread around that blue. And it's really nice to paint on top of the gesso. Kind of gives totally a different texture than just painting straight on paper. See how nice and vivid that is? Let me just go to another area so that can dry. So yeah, if you're interested in learning about people's experiences during World War II and in the Holocaust, they talk about before the war, during the war, and then after the war. Like, who survived, how they got to America, or whatever country they ended up in, how they came to America, what happened after the war and they went back home. You could never go back, because the home that was yours when they went back was occupied and it wasn't theirs anymore. I feel a big affinity to these stories because I am Jewish and my ancestors and a lot of my family was killed during the Holocaust. So I'm kind of obsessive to hearing a lot of these stories because it happened to my relatives. My relatives, they came over before the Holocaust, like in the early 1900s, knew they had to come over or who knows how life would be for them. if they had stayed in Poland. So my family is Polish and from Russia. The part of Russia that's now Ukraine is where a lot of my ancestors were from. And as a result of the Holocaust, only two people survived the Holocaust from all my family. I say three because I think one person did survive and went to Israel, but I'm not sure if they went to Israel before the war. But only two people came to the United States as a result of being in concentration camps from the Holocaust. There we go with that card. This is probably, I'm going to make a bookmark out of it. So all these cards, you have the back on it that you can write on. You want to journal on them. And again, I'm just going to add, for this one, I think, I will put a little accent like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and do something, let's see, maybe like that or like that. Let me figure it out. Decisions. I think I'm just going to take a stapler and staple. If I can find my stapler. Okay, here we go. I got my old swing line. So the trim could be used, you know, for various things. It's a little wonky. And there we go. You can't even see the stapler. So, just a few online cards to show you. I'm going to have to figure out, I'll have to double knot this one, I think. There we go. Did you see how quick and easy it was to do those cards? So I hope you liked the video, guys. I hope this is a good break from unboxings. And let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to know your comments and your thoughts. And remember, you can just have fun with stamps. Even just go on a piece of paper and just stamp up a whole bunch of fun things and paint it in. Remember, if you're using watercolors or acrylic paints, to use this ink. This is a really good ink for stamping. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.